You're standing in the self-checkout line at Target, and the machine keeps chirping, "Unexpected item in bagging area," while your phone buzzes with a Slack notification you shouldn't be reading on a Saturday. You glance at the message anyway. Someone in your team channel just posted, "I used an AI agent to draft the whole client deck in 12 minutes. Your stomach drops like you missed a step on a staircase. And suddenly, you're not just buying toothpaste, you're buying the feeling that you're late to something you can't see. By the end of this video, you'll understand why AI makes your brain feel like it's falling behind, even when your life is objectively fine. And you'll know the exact mental switch to flip so you can use that energy instead of being crushed by it. Here's the mini payoff right up front. Your anxiety isn't proof you're failing, it's your prediction machine reacting to a future that won't hold still. Because that's what this falling behind feeling is. It's not a single emotion, it's a cocktail: uncertainty, social comparison, identity threat, and a little dash of shame for good measure. It hits fast because your brain isn't built to measure truth, it's built to measure risk. And AI for your brain is basically risk with a user interface. Picture this. You're at your kitchen table with a laptop open, a mug of coffee cooling, and you're watching a 5-second clip of someone on TikTok casually saying, "I replaced my entire workflow with AI." The clip ends, your brain doesn't. It keeps running the simulation. If they can do that, then what does that mean about my job, my skills, my value? Your mind starts pulling out old memories like receipts from a drawer every time you didn't answer an email fast enough, every time you felt slow in a meeting, every time you worried you weren't technical. Suddenly, it's not about AI, it's about you. Here's a pattern interrupt. Your brain hates a moving finish line more than it hates hard work. You can grind, you can learn, you can struggle, but when the rules keep changing, your brain can't budget effort properly. It can't decide, okay, I'll do X and then I'll be safe. AI feels like the world is updating faster than your identity can. Let me show you the mechanism. Your brain is constantly making predictions, tiny ones, all day. It predicts how long a task will take, how people will react to your ideas, whether your paycheck will cover rent, whether you'll look competent in that Zoom call. When the predictions are reliable, you feel steady. When predictions fail repeatedly, your brain flips into vigilance mode. It scans harder, checks more, seeks more information. That's anxiety. Not drama, not weakness, just an overactive what-if system trying to protect you. AI is a prediction nightmare because it changes the map while you're driving. One week you feel ahead, next week a tool drops that does your favorite task faster than you can. It's like being in a race where someone keeps adding new lanes and moving the finish line, and you're not even sure if you're running the right sport anymore. Now add social comparison. Social comparison isn't vanity, it's a built-in calibration tool. You look at others to estimate where you stand. In the past, comparison happened in a limited circle: your class, your workplace, your neighborhood. Now, your comparison pool is the entire internet. People who are selectively posting wins, using tools you haven't heard of, and describing their life like a movie trailer. Your brain treats that as data, even when it's marketing. And then comes the identity threat. If AI can do what I do, what am I? That question lands like a punch because your brain links identity with safety. Identity isn't just vibes, it's the story that tells you how to survive. I'm the reliable one. I'm the creative one. I'm the smart one. I'm the helpful one. When AI shows up and seems to do a version of your thing, it doesn't just threaten your income, it threatens your story. You can see this in a super normal scene. You're on a Zoom call, camera on, trying to look engaged, and someone shares their screen. It's an AI-generated report, clean, fast, polished. Everyone reacts with those little corporate smiles. You laugh too, but you feel your body tense. Your brain is doing a quick calculation. If speed is the new status symbol, do I still have status? That tension isn't you being petty. That tension is social survival circuitry. Your nervous system is asking, am I still needed in this tribe? If you're liking this kind of brain-level explanation, hit subscribe. One sentence, done. because we're going to make this feeling make sense, not just talk about it. Now let's talk about the dopamine part, without turning it into a buzzword. Dopamine isn't just pleasure, it's motivation in salience, what your brain flags as important. Uncertainty spikes dopamine because your brain is trying to learn. That's why you can't stop checking. New AI tools, new updates, new job posts asking for prompting, new headlines about layoffs. Your brain treats each new piece of info like it might contain the key to safety, so you scroll, and every scroll is a tiny slot machine pull. Maybe this one will tell me what to do. But it rarely does. Instead, you get a hit of stimulation and a drop of dread. Stimulation, dread. Stimulation, dread. That cycle creates captivation, then anticipation, then a weird kind of validation. See, it's real, I should worry. And then, if you're lucky, affection, when someone says you're not alone. And finally, revelation, when you realize the loop itself is the trap. That's the pacing AI anxiety rides on. It's not just fear of the tool, it's fear plus intermittent reinforcement. Here's another pattern interrupt. Information feels like control, but it often acts like gasoline. So why does it feel specifically like falling behind, not just I'm anxious? Because your brain tracks relative motion. It cares less about your absolute skill and more about whether you're gaining or losing position. You could be improving, but if you believe others are improving faster, your brain labels that as danger. It's the same feeling you get when you're driving on the highway and the car next to you accelerates. You suddenly feel slow, even if you're going the speed limit. Now watch how AI turns this into a habit loop. Cue. You see someone post a fancy AI result. Routine? You search tools, watch tutorials, download apps, maybe pay for a subscription. Reward, brief relief. I'm doing something. But the relief doesn't last because the underlying problem isn't a missing app. It's an unstable sense of where you stand. So the loop repeats. There's a version of this that shows up in real life as busy learning that never becomes confident doing. You've got a browser with 14 tabs, a prompt guide, a YouTube tutorial, a thread that claims these 7 agents will change your life, and your actual work sitting there like a neglected houseplant. You tell yourself you're preparing, but your body feels like it's bracing. Now here's the twist. The falling behind feeling often has less to do with AI capability and more to do with your brain's relationship with certainty and self-worth. If your self-worth is attached to being fast, being the smartest, being the one who always has the answer, AI pokes the exact bruise. It makes you compare your inner messy process to a tool's clean output. It makes you mistake speed for value. And it makes you forget that most of what people call work isn't typing. It's choosing, judging, understanding context, handling people, noticing the weird edge case, and making trade-offs you can live with. Let's make it filmable. Imagine an Amazon package arrives. It's a cheap plastic phone stand you ordered at 1 a.m. while doom scrolling. You open it, put your phone on it, and immediately you feel ridiculous. Not because of the stand, because you bought a prop for productivity as a substitute for feeling secure. The object is small, but the urge is big. If I optimize enough, I won't be left behind. That's not laziness. That's a nervous system looking for certainty you can hold in your hand. Here's what actually helps, and it's going to sound almost too simple. Stop competing on outputs and start competing on decisions. Outputs are what AI is great at generating. Decisions are what humans are still responsible for owning. Your brain calms down when it knows what game it's playing, so you change the game. Instead of, can I produce as fast as AI, you ask, can I decide better because AI exists? Watch the shift. You're drafting an email. Old game, you panic because AI can draft it in seconds, so you feel slow. New game, you use AI to draft, then you spend your time deciding tone, relationship risk, what not to say, what the recipient actually needs, and how this email affects next week's conversation. That's the value, and your brain can feel it because it's grounded in agency. Agency is the antidote to helpless uncertainty. It's the feeling of, I can act, Not, I can keep up with everything, but I can steer. Now, your brain still needs boundaries because vigilance loves infinity. So here's a practical reframe you can run like a scene. Picture yourself in a Starbucks drive-thru, the menu board glowing, you've got 3 minutes before you have to merge back onto the road. That's the perfect metaphor for AI learning. You don't need to drink the whole menu. You need a regular order, 1 or 2 tools, 1 or 2 workflows, a default. When you have a default, your brain stops scanning constantly. It stops treating every new tool like an emergency.
Then you anchor your learning to a real outcome, not a vague identity goal. Not, I need to become an AI person. That's an identity threat magnet. Instead, I will use AI to reduce one annoying task this week. Something you can film, summarizing meeting notes, turning a messy outline into a first draft, generating 10 subject lines, or creating a checklist for a project. Small, concrete. Your brain loves concrete because it can predict the result. And here's the part people skip. You also need a social comparison detox. Not forever, just strategically. Because when you're comparing constantly, you're outsourcing your internal scoreboard to the loudest people online. Your brain needs a private baseline. You versus last month you. Not you versus the most optimized stranger on LinkedIn. Speaking of LinkedIn, imagine you're lying on your couch after work, thumb scrolling past posts that read like victory speeches. Just shipped this AI-powered pipeline, just automated my entire role. Your brain doesn't register the nuance that these posts are curated. It registers threat. So you do the simplest thing. You set a rule. No AI success feed scrolling when you're tired. Tired brains catastrophize. Rested brains strategize. Now, I want to give you one more surprising insight, because this is where the anxiety turns into something useful. The falling behind feeling is often a signal that you care about mastery. It's distorted, but it's not meaningless. Underneath the panic is a healthy drive. You want to be competent. You want to contribute. You want to matter. So instead of fighting the feeling, you translate it. When your body says, I'm behind, you say, my brain wants a plan. Then you give it a plan that is small, real, and repeatable. You don't need to outrun AI. You need to outstabilize your own attention. Because the people who win in fast-changing environments aren't always the smartest. They're the ones who can stay calm long enough to make good choices. They're the ones who can hold uncertainty without turning it into a personal verdict. So, tonight, when that wave hits, when you see another tool drop, another post, another headline, try this. Put both feet on the floor, look around your room, name 3 objects you can touch, and remind yourself the future is noisy, but your next action can be quiet. 1 task, 1 workflow, 1 decision you own. You're not falling behind, you're noticing acceleration, and noticing is the first step to steering. Drop a comment. What's the specific moment AI anxiety hits you hardest, at work, in school, or when you're scrolling at night? And if you want more videos that turn these brain glitches into something you can actually use, subscribe.